Welcome everyone to Meditation Mount, and thank you so much for joining us for this full moon meditation in the solar sign of Leo, with the full moon in Aquarius. Now we're gathered from around the world, so let's prepare ourselves for this meditation by bringing ourselves together and creating a field of resonance and receptivity. Because when we meditate, we connect on deep inner levels with each other and also with those wise beings who watch over and guide us as we travel our destined path on Earth and as we seek to play our part within the unfolding life of the planet. So let's take a few slow, deep breaths to release any tension that we may be holding, to bring ourselves present, to be here now together. And then bring your focus to the center of your heart. And both visualize and sense the fire of love burning as an eternal flame at the center of your heart. This same fire burns in all beings. So let us consciously connect ourselves heart to heart, to heart to heart, seeing lines of lighted love connecting us, connecting all gathered on this broadcast today. And then in our mind's eye, we see all the other groups and individuals around the world who are gathered at this time. We see them as points of light. And together we form a vast creative field of coherence that is known as the planetary network of light. Our meditation today is an active part of the life of our planet, helping to circulate the energies throughout its being. So take a few more deep, gentle breaths and bring yourself now back into your waking consciousness as we prepare for our group meditation. So let me say a few introductory remarks about Leo. Leo is a fire sign, and Leo supplies the needed solar power for purifying and clearing away those previous forms that no longer serve the true need of the times. That's what we are witnessing all around us. The falling away of that which no longer serves, and then the emergence of those forms that are a new response to the need of the times. So Leo actually provides us with what's called the necessary burning ground, which all aspirants and would-be servers have to cross. We have to cross the burning ground because the burning ground purifies us. It's the process of raising the lead and transforming it into gold, into the metal of the soul. So the sacrificial fire of Leo helps with this transformation from self-centeredness into a life of selfless service. And I believe that that's the critical turning point that we're facing at the moment, from egocentric to ecocentric. Because when we are egocentric, all the forces are turned inwards and all of life's energy is directed to the aggrandizement of self or the survival of self. And for the health of a system, energy has to flow. And energy flows when we serve the system. And then when the system is served, it serves all of its constituent parts. So this is an opportunity to take that leap or make that shift from self-centeredness into selfless service. Leo is also called the Lion of Assertion. And the keynotes of this sign are individuality, self-consciousness, and sensitivity. And we'll come back to this last characteristic, sensitivity. Leo is also associated with will, the will to dominate and rule, the will to illumine, and the will to gain knowledge. So all of this combines to make Leo what's called in the esoteric teachings a battlefield of the forces of matter and the forces of light. And this simply means when these two are engaged, the sparks that come out of this interaction create awareness. This is how consciousness is born. So let's have a look at Leo. What happens when we are inside the energy of Leo? On a personal level, it can heighten this intense sense of individuality, and it's apt to make the Leo character think of themselves very dramatically as the center of the universe, the sole center of attention. So a Leo character, when they're in their more immature phase of evolution, is very self-centered. That's neither good nor bad, it's just a phase in evolution. And Leo, as you can imagine, is often the sign of rulers and dictators, because it has to do with power. And one example of this, if you go back to European history and look at the French king Louis XIV, he viewed himself as the direct representative of God, who was endowed with a divine right to wield the absolute power of the monarchy. Now, he illustrated his status by choosing the sun as his emblem. And he cultivated this image of this omniscient and infallible Sun King around whom the entire realm orbited. So Louis XIV was a vivid example of self-centered power. However, the true self-consciousness, which is Leo's function to help bring about, is that of a greater awareness of the inner reality we call the higher self, the true king, the true ruler, the soul. And together with this understanding of our own sovereign nature, a realization of the necessity for coexisting harmoniously with others. We're not separate units, we are interconnected. So Leo offers an opportunity to access a more expanded universal consciousness and to establish contact with a deeper dimension of planetary purpose. So to sum this last few points up, you could say the shift from the lower to the higher aspect of Leo can be summed up in the phrase, progress is made when the love of power is transformed into the power of love. Progress is made when the love of power is transformed into the power of love. That is what is needed right now on Earth. So in addition to the focused energy of will and power, sensitivity, as we just mentioned, is one of the key conditioning elements of Leo. And depending on the level of spiritual awakening and maturity, this may be primarily a sensitivity to impact from the surrounding environment, as well as from personal will and desire, or as we evolve, it may be sensitivity to the subtle influences of the soul, and also to those refined cosmic intelligences that suffuse space. Space is not empty. It is vibrant. It's full of life. It is alive. And the more sensitive we become, the more we are able to partake and participate. So I'd like to read a quote from Esoteric Astrology. This is by Alice Bailey, because it talks about the challenge of spiritual sensitivity for each of us as we step on the path and seek to become what's called a soul-infused personality. This is all part of being on this long journey of the ever-evolving God person. We're learning to be co-creators, gods in our own right. So this is the quote from Esoteric Astrology. At this stage of spiritual unfoldment, The liberated person is not conditioned by their environment that they have outgrown, but begins the arduous task of conditioning their environment in relation to the divine plan and purpose, and at the same time to cultivate sensitivity to the higher impacts of those worlds which lead to the final goal. So that goes back to what we just talked about, this shift from self-centeredness to selfless service. It's once we expand and realize that we're part of something greater, then the power that lives inside us can be a power to serve. Every sign of the zodiac has a spiritual motto attached to it, and I'd like to read the one that represents Leo. I am that, and that am I. I am that, and that am I. It's a bold declaration of this is who we are, but not this is who we are as an aggrandizement of self, the self-centeredness, but a declaration, I am that, and that I am. It really goes back to the principle of essential divinity that we work with here at Meditation Mount, where we affirm that inside of each person is a spark of the Creator, is a note of the original song of creation. That's what we're identifying with. So let me just share a few things about what governs Leo. So Leo is ruled both esoterically and exoterically by the sun. And the sun actually focuses the influences of other planets, such as Neptune and Uranus. The sun itself transmits the energy of the second ray, which is the ray of love wisdom. And this ray permeates the whole of our solar system because it said our solar system is a second ray solar system. So it is true to say that love is all there is. It really is true, and our task is to reveal that love, to build a society that reflects that inner love on the outside. This present period of the year, which falls under the influence of the constellation Leo, is also known as the time of Sirius. And Sirius is referred to also as the dog star, the brilliant star, or the great star of sensitivity. There's that word again, sensitivity. And it's said a chain of sensitivity extends from Sirius, the great cosmic center of love energy that powerfully conditions Leo. And once again, a quote from the esoteric astrology. Leo, in the cosmic sense, and apart from our solar system altogether, is ruled by Sirius. So this is an important feature of the Leo full moon. It's Sirius. So Sirius is referred to as the sun of suns. It represents celestial Isis, the female or receptive counterpart of the celestial giant Orion. And we're told that Sirius is the portal through which cosmic love flows into our solar system. It's the gateway for cosmic love to enter. So it is a key player in our evolution. And once again, I want to just draw from the Ageless Wisdom teachings that are part of our lineage, because it's interesting to note that these teachings state that there's a very ancient relationship between our Lord of the world, our planetary Logos, Sanat Kumara, and the Lord of Sirius. There's a very special working relationship. Sirius has as one of its main features the law of freedom. And the law of freedom governs all solar life. Because the principle of freedom is what's called the leavening energy that can permeate the substance in an exceptional and liberating way. So the Sirian law of freedom basically says we have the right to do whatever we want, but we learn through our consequences that in the end, we can only do what we're truly called to do by our sovereign self. So the divine principle of freedom really represents an aspect of the influence that Sirius exerts upon our solar system, and particularly on our planet, because freedom is one of the attributes of divinity. I and you cannot evolve and be self-realized unless we have the freedom to choose, and the freedom to learn, and the freedom to understand what it means to be in integrity with ourselves and with life. Otherwise, it's not born from the inside. Somebody else is telling us what to do. So the gift of freedom from Sirius allows for the birth of this inner awareness of consciousness. Without that, we will just be obeying orders rather than giving birth to our own wisdom. So as you look around the world, the freedom for which many people are fighting now is a lower aspect of this cosmic freedom. Because freedom is this great evolutionary movement, because it allows life or spirit to free itself from the impact, contact, and influence of substance, as it says in the teaching. So very simply put, the freedom from Sirius governs and underlies all evolutionary processes. Now, let me get a little bit more technical and just dive into this a little bit more. It's said that the lords of liberation emanating from Sirius stand poised right now for our invocative appeal, which will lead them to an evocative response. And that's how life works. Freedom says that the forces of life cannot interfere and intervene. We have to ask, we have to invite, we have to invoke. And the reason this is important in 2024, because this is the crucial moment before the final year of the 2025 Centennial Conclave. So every 100 years, the wise beings that we call masters or postgraduate humans who reside in the fifth realm, the realm of the soul, gather to figure out what's next. How far have we come? What's next? So this coming year is a real opportunity to cooperate with those forces that are helping to seed and shape the future. It also allows us to gain a greater understanding of what freedom really means. So the Sirius Leo Cosmic Festival is celebrated each year at the full moon during the sign of Leo. And the festival is today. And this festival is dedicated to making contact with the forces of Sirius, and it offers all of us a unique opportunity to become aware of what's moving. So one more sort of esoteric factoid here as part of the introduction. It's said that all great avatars and evolutionary energies originate from Sirius. The influences of Sirius are focused through Regulus, the heart of the lion found in the constellation of Leo. And according to Alice Bailey, the Sirius-Leo connection is key to humanity's spiritual evolution and the building of a future unifying world religion. And it's said that this Leo-Sirius festival will assume greater importance in the coming centuries, because it provides an opportunity to experience the energy of freedom, this leavening energy that permeates and pulls away from substance, because it reminds us of our true identity, and it invites us to live within the world, yet not of the world. That's a very similar wording to what we read in the Bible. Be in the world, but not of it. So, as I mentioned earlier, the keynote for Leo is I am that, and that am I, which at its highest level is a statement of spiritual identification. So once again, the Sirius Leo Festival offers the opportunity to experience this identification with this greater life manifesting through Sirius. Meditation Mount's spiritual lineage also emphasizes the importance of Sirius and the evolution of our Earth. And for this reason, several years ago, we created a skylight in our meditation room. And as you can see, the skylight has two main symbols. You see the spirit of peace represented by the dove, but above it, you see the 8-pointed star of Sirius shining brightly. A few more words about Sirius because it is important. So knowledge of the importance of Sirius was well known in ancient times by many esoteric scholars. And Sirius has been influential in the life and folklore of many ancient societies and civilizations. For instance, there's a very interesting example. There's a tribe in Africa called the Dogon. They live in the region of Mali, and they've known for centuries and have believed that their ancestors are descendants of a species from the star system Sirius, which is 8.5 light years away. So this African tribe had advanced astronomical knowledge of the hidden star Sirius B long before European scientists. While Sirius A is visible to the naked eye, its companion white dwarf Sirius B wasn't discovered until the 1950s with modern telescopes. So the Dogon were well aware of its presence, as well as its orbital period, long before it was confirmed by our modern scientists. This is just a sort of a gentle reminder that we don't know it all. Societies before have been centered around a lot of these deep celestial truths. Another example I can give is the Etruscan civilization was influenced by Sirius. And I remember a scholar in Tuscany telling a friend of mine that in his research he had found that the governing council of the Etruscans was comprised of 8 men and 8 women. So there's a group of 16. And this represented, to this person's understanding, the twin stars of Sirius A and Sirius B. So 8 men, 8 women. And they believed that these two working together would be the perfect governing council. So what I'm really saying is the destiny of our Earth is mysteriously intertwined with that of Sirius. One more point about Sirius. Astrologically, Sirius is also related to the next zodiacal sign, which is Virgo. And it's associated with the Sphinx. Let's look at the symbol of the Sphinx. It has the body of a lion, which is Leo, the sign Leo, and the head of the Virgin, which is Virgo, which is what we're moving into. So the Sphinx really represents and has an alignment with Sirius. So Virgo, which is the sign we're moving into next month, represents the triple goddess of Eve, Isis, and Mary. And in the Egyptian tradition, Isis is synonymous with Sirius A, and is also known as the Nile star. So I don't want to get too caught up in the technology of this and the information. The main thing to realize is that we are under the influence of an incredible, beneficent force flowing through the portal of Sirius. It's love. So by way of summary, Leo transmits the Sirian energy of cosmic love and freedom to Earth through Shambhala. Shambhala is the center of will where the planetary purpose is held. It's the planetary head center. And then this energy then pours into the great center of love wisdom, which is the realm of soul-realized beings that constitutes the planetary heart center. And this is where we now play our role. It enters the planetary center represented by us, humanity, because we as humanity are said to form the planetary throat center, that co-creative aspect. So I guess that we're learning to stand steady, to work and play, and to join forces and play our part within this great chain of sensitivity and blessing as the world passes through what we are witnessing as a period of temporary upheaval that I know will lead eventually to the regeneration of our society. And in fact, the astrological chart for this super full moon reveals the extent to which this is an extremely potent time of shifting and recalibration in human history, and in particular for the United States of America. And in a moment, Diana will offer her insights into the celestial dynamics at play before leading us in our group meditation. So that's a lot of information. So let's just take a few deep breaths to assimilate it and let it go. So holding all these fiery impressions and energies in our collective heart and mind, let us now enter into the next phase of our group ritual. Thank you. Over to you, Diana.
Thank you, Michael. Wow, that was beautiful and thorough and intense, and it is intense. And I wanted to just add my piece to this because there's so much going on right now, as you all know and can feel and sense, that the energy is heightened, and it's very heightened right now. The full moon is exact tomorrow morning at 11:26 a.m. in Pacific time. So you make an adjustment for where you are. And the last full moon, I just want to mention the exact time of the full moon last month, Joe Biden stepped down. And you think about the power of that amazing timing and what happened after that. And this full moon on Monday starts the Democratic Convention. So we've got big wheels turning in the United States and everywhere on the planet. Everyone's being very stimulated, and it's a very important time to hold our focus towards love, towards the alignment with Sirius, as Michael explained, to remember why we're here, to remember what we're here for, to not lose sight or our vision, no matter what happens. And so I'll show the chart now so you can see just a little bit. Let's see. This is it. If you know anything about astrology, you can see this is a very strong triple T-squares going on here. And I called it power surge. And this is very important to expect the unexpected. And that is what's up for us this month and tomorrow specifically, but really the whole month, where we have all this increasing energy and lots of retrograde planets too. We have Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, and Uranus will be in a few days. And meanwhile, Sun is conjunct Mercury retrograde. So, miscommunications and misunderstandings and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of tension. And I want to just say that so that you can sort of be ready for what's coming and what you maybe are already experiencing. And then I'm going to also share just briefly, this is the chart of the United States with the chart for today, or for the full moon. And I wanted to say just a couple of things about it. There's a lot I could say about it. But one is that the moon today, the full moon at 27 Aquarius, is on the United States full moon at 27 Aquarius. So that's amazing. So we've got a big full moon highlighting. It's within 5 minutes where the moon is on the moon of the US chart. So we're feeling this. The moon are our feelings. While Pluto is doing its Pluto return, and it won't be finished, really. Well, it's kind of finished, but it isn't changing signs until November. So we're really looking underneath of everything, of the way things are organized structurally and societally, and political structures and social structures of all kinds are all being relooked at and revamped. There's a lot more going on in this chart, but it's enough to say, you got to say Uranus in transit is squaring exactly 27 Aquarius, 27 Taurus. So this Uranus, the planet of change, right, is squaring the United States moon and our full moon today. So, wow, that's a lot. That is a whole lot of energy. And it's sort of our opportunity to work with that energy, to harness that energy, and to use that energy to help hold the field as these changes do occur. It's important to not let our guard down or to get complacent about anything at this time, because everything needs that good shepherding right now of consciousness, of aware souls, as meditators are, right? We're consciously aware on purpose. And in the spirit of Leo, Michael was talking about being that self-centered or selfless. And the way I say it is the difference between self-centered and centered self, right? Which means to be self-aware, to always know where you are, to, as ripples move through, that you sort of are buoyant to the changes that are happening, because these are powerful, powerful times. And I could talk for an hour about what's going on right now. But you get the gist and you get the feeling. And in your intuitions, you're sensing all of this anyway. And it's not that big of a surprise to anyone what's going on right now, as I know you know. And so the meditation becomes even more important than usual, right? To really hold together and to tune your own instrument to these changing energies as well. So this is a good time for us to go into meditation. So when you're ready to get yourself centered, centered self versus self-centered. And just take a few breaths to organize yourself into this time and space, coming into the moment, coming into your breath, coming into the connection between all of us and the group chalice that we make in our group awareness. And just breath by breath, slow yourself down into the calm, into the silence, into the moment. More and more still, more and more calm. Good. And so when you're ready to take a conscious breath to relax the physical body, taking a breath, inhale. And as you exhale, balancing the physical body, orienting ourselves with each other. A complex mandala of points of light around the planet. And taking another breath now to balance the emotional body, inhaling. And as you exhale, balancing the emotional body. Om. And finally, taking another breath now consciously to balance the mental body, inhale. And as you exhale, feel the mind come to center, completely still and awake, taking your seat within the center of the heart center, the physical touchdown of Leo, the heart, the courage to love. And as you breathe gently now here in the heart center, feel yourself connecting to strength and constancy and the deep calm of Sirius. And from the center of the heart, sensing all the centers around the planet and beings of light everywhere that are holding the field of awakened consciousness, breathing through your heart center and organizing the instrument of the body into the harmony of love. Gently breathing in and out through the heart center, feeling the whole of the self aligning to love, aligning to the heart of the sun, aligning to the heart of Sirius. And from this point, saying the key phrase for Leo inside your heart, I am that, and that am I. Om. And when we move in a few moments into the silence, centered self, I am that, and that am I. We'll use this seed thought to join our group awareness and move into the silence for about 10 minutes. Guided by light, we hold as one for the highest good. Guided by light, we hold as one for the highest good. guided by light. We hold as one for the highest good. Centered self. And so we stand with hierarchy and the ashram of the Christ, aware of the mother of the world and of Shambhala, connecting directly with the heart of Sirius. We take our stand. And in this grace, in this state of grace, offering this prayer, all blessings to all beings. Imagine this energy pouring into the earth, into the world, and beyond. All blessings to all beings. And we'll close with the great invocation, followed by 3 Oms. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into all human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Om. 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 Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. So let's take a few deep breaths. Realize what we have invoked. And Leo, we know the ruler is the sun. So let us stand as the sun, stand as the radiant soul revealed, and take our place in the great chain of blessing. And let's ponder on this invitation given by the spiritual teaching. Be like the sun. Give freely of your light and warmth, asking for nothing in return. And we're going to close by distributing everything we've received today. We're going to do it with the sounding of the Tibetan bowl 3 times, accompanied by an affirmation that sums up the gift of Sirius, love and freedom. So I will say the affirmation, sound the bowl, and then I will ask us to breathe out the potent blessing of the fire of love and see this liberating force dissolve all barriers and assert the fact of one soul of humanity. So let us center in ourselves. May love prevail on earth. May freedom reign. May love prevail on earth. May freedom reign. May love prevail on earth. May freedom reign. And may our lives continue to be a blessing. And thank you for your presence and your participation in this full moon meditation. And on behalf of Diana, and on behalf of Joey, who is working behind the scenes to make this broadcast possible, and myself, we bid you farewell and good night from all of us here at Meditation Mount. Thank you so much for being part of this great network of light, this force for good, this force for love on the planet. Namaste.